Many eons ago, a little writer man called Michael Brian Benson, he thought he would unite Marvel's biggest brains and Seaman, and say it through Retcons that this secret group had been acting behind the scenes since the 1970s. Then a few years later, he repeated the same idea but with baddies. And then a few years after that, a good writer, Jeff Parkman, came along and showed us how to do this idea right. This is Fall of the Orcs Alpha. It is a one-shot and it introduces and establishes this group called the Intellectuals, who are like the big evil geniuses of the Marvel Universe. And unlike Michael Brian Benson's attempt at the same basic idea, this is actually characters who would be considered geniuses and leaders, and it's not just the writer's pet characters or ones that he's trying to soak up from other well-selling books. So here we have got Mr. Doom, we have got m.o.d.o.k, we have got the Reader, we've got Red Goat and his super monkeys, Thinker Man, Dr. Eggman, Amazo the Robot, and Wingless Man. And this story is a series of retcons inserting the existence of this group throughout Marvel's history. And unlike Benson, this does it perfectly. To start off, the Intellectuals, they have found the hidden home of the new gods. And part of the reason these retcons work so well is because they are not contradicting anything or breaking any backstory. And obviously Jeff Parkman, he has chosen to use the new gods here, and now we see screws up their history. Whereas Benson, he had Iron Man declare war on an alien race, and it never be brought up for 40 years. So here, the Intellectuals, they're ransacking the new gods' armoury. On top of everything, I also think this is a solid retcon, because it's a very believable idea and something you would wonder about. Like when the new gods, when they were exposed and revealed to the people on Earth, why was no supervillain interested in them? Like why wasn't Mr. Doom or whoever trying to harness their power or their knowledge for themselves? And if you pay attention, you'll notice that Mr. Doom isn't actually with them here. And that is a plot point. How Parkman inserts this into Mr. Doom's history is brilliant. Here we start to get some backstory on the characters. Wingless Man, he is a Fantastic Force enemy. And over here we got Dr. Eggman. Though I have no idea when this flashback is meant to be set. I think it's meant to be Avengers 229, clearly. But Ant Gordon, he wasn't Ant-Man in that issue, and Charlotte Witch and the Vision, they weren't in it either. And Scorpion Man up there, he was only in Avengers 222, but Ant Gordon, he wasn't captured in that one. So even though this is a good story for its continuity insert, it's still got some wrong continuity in it, and this is the sort of thing I blame on Tom Beavor's Ascension. Tom Beavor, he doesn't edit this, or it'd probably be shit. But his approach to editing, it became the norm. Thinker Man here, Red Goat up there, a lot of Fantastic Force villains actually. When it comes to the Intellectuals, I think it all makes sense. All these people would work together, although there's one character who probably wouldn't, but we'll come to him later on. When it comes to other characters, the only one I feel's possibly missing is Dan Slott from Spider-Man. He feels like he'd be at home on this team. But I guess coordinating his inclusion with Stephen Wanker and the Spider-Man editors was just more hassle than it was worth. But everyone else, the other evil big brains in the Marvel Universe, it makes sense them not being part of this group. With the Intellectuals, they're not like a fighting team. They're more interested in pooling their resources and exchanging their knowledge and shit. Then we get a Mr. Doom. And with Mr. Doom, there is a very obvious problem. Mr. Doom, he is an incredibly major Marvel character, and establishing this sort of huge change to his history it's the exact sort of thing that Michael Brian Benson would fall face first in. But Jeff Parkman, he does it superbly. Firstly, as you have seen, he has Mr. Doom take like a back seat and not really develop an actual working relationship with these other characters. And well, you'll see later on how it doesn't quite affect Mr. Doom continuity all that much. Got some more clever retcons here, inserting this team into past storylines and events. Here they acknowledge how Eggman, he died in Roy Sternman's Avengers run. Not to keep bringing it up, but Michael Brian Benson, he would not do this. He would just have Eggman show up alive, so he could have been part of the team throughout all their history. Except he wouldn't even do that, because he wouldn't even know a character like Eggman exists, because he's only read like the same 5 Hank Miller Daredevil comics. We've got some good stuff with these characters, with Mr. Doom justifying this retcon. Then they bring m.o.d.o.k onto the team to replace Eggman. We get m.o.d.o.k's origin here, how he was an agent of AIM, and then he was experimented on with science, and he became really smart and really ugly. Then the intellectuals, their next venture is into the Black Panther Straw Utopia with Hollywood, and all these little excursions, they're done under secrecy and stealth, so we're not having to accept the idea that there was a super villain team invading with Hollywood. That was just never ever mentioned by anyone. And I've not said, but all these baddies are written very well. They are all interesting, they are all unique, and while someone like Red Go or Wingless Man, they'd even get an enormous amount of page time in this. This is all good stuff. And considering the subject and the content, it is surprising how well and adeptly this is done, especially when you take into account those monumental failings of when Benson did this same idea twice before. Here we have got some more inserts. We've got Secret Worlds and Beyond a Man. We've got the intellectuals reacting to that sort of stuff. And here we've got Venom. They're experimenting on the symbiote there. And here it's actually explaining a continuity fuck-up. And I love that. We have got Jennifer Connelly or Liv Tyler from the m.o.d.o.k. She died of cancer in the 90s. And then she just came back and it was just ignored and never explained. And here we finally got an answer. The intellectuals, they found her body. Then we have got, this is Planet Hulk here, when the heroes, when Benson's retcon team actually, they fired Hulk off into space. And then we've got a double splash page here of Hulk versus Reader. And I have been sidestepping the Mr. Doom thing. Mr. Doom, he probably stands out as a really offending idea because, well, we have this A-list uber baddie apparently on this team with a bunch of B and C listers. Not only that, but the Reader, he seems to be acting as the team's leader. And then we have the more hurtful aspect. That Mr. Doom being part of this team makes no sense for his character. For this to work, you would have to accept that Mr. Doom saw these others as his equals, when that is not something the character would or even could ever do. And we see Mr. Doom, he doesn't go on missions with them, but he allows them to use his castle as like a sanctuary. He's still included in their meetings and stuff. And he's kind of just hanging back here. And again, that seems a bit out of character for him. But here's the thing, right? The book knows that. It has known it all along. When the intellectuals, they have assembled some lost texts of ancient civilizations, Mr. Doom reveals he is not their ally or equal, and he never has been, and he was only tolerating them for as long as they were of use to him with regards to amassing all this technology and stuff like those lost books. Absolutely perfectly done. Mr. Doom's involvement, it helps lend legitimacy to this new team, but it is not at any point to the detriment of his character. Then we start setting up future storylines with the remaining intellectuals. They're going to try and take out all the geniuses who are on the good guys' side, like Iron Man and Black Panther and Mr. Fantasticals. I think that was the Fall of the Hulk's crossover. That was the story. And also them planning to create the Red Hulk. And now, just to make me love this comic even more, we have got book entries. These are just updates though, they're very brief, origins and major stories, but we get Reader, we get m.o.d.o.k, we get all the members of the intellectuals, Mr. Doom. Also, his entry, it doesn't mention the events of Thanius the End. Then we have got Red Go and Wingless Man. I think all these characters, they would have at least double page entries in the actual Andy books. We got Thinker Man there and Dr. Eggman. And that's it. I strongly recommend this. And you will have reservations about this. I remember I had so many fucking reservations about this idea. But Jeff Portman, he works wonders, and the art, which I've not even mentioned, the art is by Pelletier from that Batgirl run I like. He is a really good artist. This issue is worthy of every thumb of the 7 thumbs up I'm giving it.